Hello, everyone. Today's lesson, I'm going to go over how to gather some data, some information on disease, and then make a really nice graph out of it using Google Sheets. I'll show you what our final product will be. So we'll go to sheet one. We're going to learn about pertussis, which is whooping cough. So you get a really bad cough and you go at the end of it. So every once in a while, this pops up in schools and it becomes a big deal. So we're going to look at how that information has changed over the last almost 100 years here. And we'll make a nice graph just like this. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start from scratch. So down in the corner, there's this plus sign. You hit that, and it'll make a new blank sheet. And I want pertussis data from 1922 to 2018. So I'm going to go to the sheet and let's look pertussis. So it pops up down below because I just used this information, 1922 to 2018. And I'm going to get it from the CDC. So reliable source here for US information. And what's really easy is we can find information on diseases like this. And what we're going to do is just highlight all the way down to 2018, and then Command or Control C to copy, go back to our Excel, and then Command or Control V, there's our data. And I don't like how all this below is black and white because I can't read a lot of this. So I'm going to click to and then go to the bottom, hold shift and click that. That's going to highlight all our numbers here. I want to keep this green because I kind of like that. In the fill color, I'm going to make it white. So now we can see all our information. I also don't like how this is kind of centered on the right. I want to center it on the left, so I'll go here and I will align it to the left. So that'll move the numbers over. And so I can't see this title, so I'm going to stretch this. And I don't like this NO. I don't like that it's there, so I'm going to get rid of that. And we'll just change it to reported pertussis cases. So now I can shrink this a little bit. Okay, so now our data looks good. If we click this column, it's going to highlight all the years, all the information. If I hold down Shift and click the next column over, it's going to highlight all this information as well. So now that we have about 100 years of data on how many cases of pertussis a year, we're going to go to Data. Let's see, where is it? Insert. So in Insert, we're going to hit Chart. And what's great about Google Sheets is it is just going to make the graph for us. So really easy. But let's go over how to kind of change it. So say we want to, let's move my head over here. Say we want to change some things about this. So it's going to set it up here. If I exit out of the chart editor, all I need to do is click these three dots and hit Edit Chart. And then you notice that it has the border, but it's missing on this side. So if we just stretch it a little bit, it should pop in. So there we go. Now we have a border. So Edit Chart. So we can change this. So maybe we want bars. Ooh, that looks really bad. Maybe we don't want the area covering. Well, that looks okay. Maybe we want to round out. We can see that looks, so there's a lot of options here you can play with, but today we're just going to do, ooh, that looks, I don't like that either. So what we have, and let's get that little blue highlight. I think that looks nice. So we're seeing lots of cases, and then it starts to drop off in 40s, 50s, which is when our vaccine came online. And then it drops off, and we're starting to see some spikes starting in 2000. So we'll get into that later. Okay, so now we have the x-axis. We have our years. That looks good, but I want to add in more years so we can really see what's going on here. So if I hit aggregate, it's going to make some of those smaller years show up. So now I can see a little bit closer what's going on across those decades. Boop. So what else can we do? There's a lot you can kind of click around and edit. So if I go to customize, this is where we can make it look fancy. So background color, I like the white, but you can make it weird colors like orange. Ooh, that looks bad. We're not going to do that. White is generally what you want. In college, they're going to ask that you have it in white. So the borders, I want to make those black just so it's a little more obvious where this ends. And anytime a border disappears, just make your chart a little bit bigger and they'll reappear. So customize, style, that looks good. So the axis, so the title, I want to change this title. So reported pertussis cases verse year. Let's put just pertussis cases by year. And I left a period, so let's get rid of that. I'm just going to do this video in one shot so you can see, me making mistakes, and it's okay. Okay, so if we want to change the font, I'm like, ooh, I want that. Ooh, that looks bad. We'll stick with Arial. Font size, you can make it bigger, smaller. You all know this. Make it bold. I like that. And then title color, let's make it black. I don't like how, or even blue. So then it kind of matches with our our chart here. Okay. This, if we want to make the area like less opaque, we want to turn up the opacity. So how dark it is, we could turn it up to 100. I like the 30. So opaque means it's less clear. So, and transparency is how it is. So it's 70% transparent or 30% opaque. Fun fact. Later on, if we get to error bars, we can add those, but we don't need them. And okay, so now I want these dots to go away. I don't like that. So I'm going to hit Command or Control Z twice, and that fixes anything. So anytime you make a mistake, Command or Control Z, that'll take it back to the original. So as we click down, there's a lot of different things we can mess with. None of this stuff we need to change. The grid lines, I don't like, say I want to make them a little darker. So now we have these dark grid lines. Now you can really see the kind of case numbers jumping. And then minor grid lines. So say we add those. And looks a little too busy. So we don't want the minor ones. If we want, we can add in more numbers. You can also click on things. So say, hey, I just want to change the grid. So I can click on that and it's going to take me straight to where that is. So let's look at the y-axis. And scale factor. So let's put it in the thousands. So maybe we don't want in the hundreds of thousands because we want to get really more detailed. We could change it to 1,000. So looks about the same. So let's go the millions. Okay, nothing million. And oh, okay, so you're seeing weird things happen, and that's okay. So I like the default. The default's better. Let's stick with that. So this would be how, so Command Z, Control Z, fix any problems. Let's take it back to original. So now, I'd like to put this in the center. That's one thing I forgot to do. So I don't like how the title's over here. So I'm going to click it, and here we're going to align it in the middle. So now we could easily Control or Command C and copy it and paste this into like a paper or anywhere to show our info. We can mess with a lot of things. So I edit chart, These are kind of small, so let's make that text a little bigger. Oh, Zoom's popping up. Go away, Zoom. Okay. So 16, yeah. So now I can read this a little bit better. And then if I click year, we'll make it the same. 16. And then we can even make it bigger if it's looking kind of smushed. Good, so now we've taken all the information for pertussis cases and we see trends, right? We're seeing a pattern here. So it was really, really high and looks like 1934, 35. And then it kind of spikes, decreases, spikes, and then it eventually just completely drops off. So we have two things happening here. We have questions, right? What happened here to make it drop off? And what's happening here to make it increase? So these are questions that we'll have to find answers to. Good work.